The more I study this climate change crisis, the more I blame our ancestors. I feel like there are two things that our ancestors did in the past that caused climate change, that has brought us in this crisis that we are in today. In the beginning, man was a hunter and a gatherer. He used to eat the fruits, the leaves, the roots, and then he would hunt for his food. And they used to live in communities. So you find men would go and kill a buffalo and bring it home, and the village would enjoy that for a week or so. There was abundant of fruits, abundant of animals to hunt from. And over time, because of the abundance of food, there was an increase in population. As population increased, there is demand for food. As demand for food is met, there is increase in population. It's a whole feedback loop. So then, as the population throughout the world continued to increase, man was also making discoveries. He made fire, he made tools to help him with hunting, he even discovered that he could grow his own food. As agriculture was beginning, there is plenty of land. Remember, we did this, I think, was it history or geography? I think history, where we are told that they would go burn a whole piece of land, wanalima for 2 years, it stops being fertile, they leave that one, they go to another place, and they burn a whole how many acres, and I was like, wow, there was that much land. Siku hizi tunauziwa ploti makuta makuta. Where? Anyway. Wow, lucky them. They didn't even need title deeds. So, sikumbuki that method of farming ilikuwa inaitwa nini? Hiyo yenye mnachoma, mnalima, ikiacha mnaenda kwingine. Please tell me down in the comment section. I can't remember. But either way, over time, then there was the whole setting up of industries. Juu sasa instead ya kulima mahindi alafu unaweka kwa the granary alafu ikiisha ndio umelima zingine, you could actually mill that maize ikuwe unga, pike ugali, and then hata una package unauzia majirani. The business has come in because people are moving to towns and they need food, so there is a whole commercial thing that is now happening. They are growing, miaka inasonga. So over time, the industries have been set up. They need raw materials. The raw materials is in form of agricultural products. So they need to increase the agricultural land that they have. They need clothes. They need cotton. Cotton comes from the farm. So farmers have to increase their produce of cotton. So that means clearing more forest, more vegetation, and increasing the amount of land that they are farming on cotton. This is happening during the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s. And there is all sorts of industries. And there is all sorts of demand for development. And there is all sorts of things that are happening. The slave trading is happening. World wars have started because now nations have gotten power. Wanapimana nguvu among these and these. And of course, there are so many other things that are happening. We have disease outbreaks that are happening. The chaos have already started. By 1950s, the world could not deny anymore that they had really, really destroyed the environment. The effects of environmental degradation were clear. They had polluted the oceans, they had cut down trees, the rivers were polluted, the air was polluted, and by that time, then nations throughout the world started coming together because they felt now they have gone so far and they need to regulate how they are actually using the natural resources. So these are the two things that man did then that have caused climate change. The first thing that he did was that as he was developing and setting up industries and going on with his activities, our ancestors then, they released millions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, the problem with the carbon dioxide is that it is the carbon dioxide and other gases, a group of gases, zinaitwa greenhouse gases. Now, greenhouse gases are a group of gas that is very selfish. So as the sun is shining, these gases trap heat and become heated up, and they do not release that heat, and they're in the atmosphere. So what happens? Then the temperature around them increases because they are heated up. The more we release them into the atmosphere, the more they trap more heat, and the more the atmosphere becomes hot. When the atmosphere becomes hot, the ice starts to melt. And then once it melts, we have all the waters, the oceans rising. Because it is up here and the temperatures are the ones that are rising, remember what is wind? Wind is moving air. And where we move when it is hot, the temperatures are differing. So you find now we cannot tell when the cyclones will come, the hurricanes, the rain pattern is disrupted. Almost every pattern of weather that we knew inakuwa distracted because the temperatures of the atmosphere have increased. Because our ancestors produce millions of tons, probably billions at this level, of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The thing number two that they did is that they cut down millions of acres of forest and vegetation. When they removed the forest and vegetation, this is what happened. The plants, trees, vegetation, and so on, they take in carbon dioxide and use it for photosynthesis. They use it to make their food. If we could be releasing 1 ton of carbon dioxide, but we have trees that can absorb that carbon dioxide, we are safe. We will be okay. But now they cut down so many trees that the trees that are left in the world today cannot be able to take in all the carbon dioxide that is already there. The tree will only take what it needs. Ni kama sisi always breathe double. You only breathe what you need. The rest inabaki. The same is happening. There is so much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and very few trees to take it up. Scientists have said, research have shown that today, as I speak to you right now, if somehow the whole world decided they are not going to produce carbon dioxide, what is already produced and is up there is already dangerous enough to continue with this climate change. So there is already the excess that is already up there. And remember, we are not going to stop living. We are still going to build industries. We are still going to use magari. Lazima tununue magari. Lazima tuendeshe, tukae in good homes. We must do a good life. As Africa, we are a continent that is developing. We will have to develop. We cannot necessarily be sure to say that we shall never produce greenhouse gases. That we can't. We can only try and reduce, but we shall produce. And we already have excess in the atmosphere. So when man cut down trees, and it is the trees that he used to take up these greenhouse gases, that was the beginning of this problem. So those are the two things that I feel that the old men did. Of course, among other things, because now as they were developing and everything, they made sure that the universe, you can hear by 1950s is when they were realizing that they have really destroyed the planet. So they've destroyed the waters, the oceans, the air, the everything. But I think these two is what have very much contributed to climate change. Because now we have an excess of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which is giving us a headache. From where I sit, I still would have to say, I think it is our ancestors that killed the planet. But unfortunately, it is us who are here today. So then the question is, shall we do what they did or shall we do better? My question to you is, will you do what they did then we can say they didn't have data and information and they never thought this would happen. Shall we follow their line of action, or shall you, at an individual level, do better? And there are simple things that you can do today. If you don't need your TV in the house, switch it off. If you're just going to the shopping center, you can decide to walk. If you're using, unaenda kwa mama mboga ama kwa soko, beba bag yako instead of buying a new one. Simple things like switching off the lights. Like making sure maji yako kwa tap umefunga vizuri so that it's not dropping those two drops. Like sharing this video with a friend or a community. These are the simple things that we do that will create impact, because if I stop water dripping from my tap and 1,000 other people around the world do so, we will have saved a lot of water from going down the drain. My name is Miriam Mukami, an environmental consultant here in Kenya. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.